Welcome back to Narcissism Freedom, the place where we speak truth, healing, and divine clarity into your life. If you've ever looked back at a past relationship and felt like you were sleeping next to something dark, something that drained you, confused you, and pulled you into spiritual chaos, you are not alone. Today's message is one many of you will deeply relate to. It's about that moment when you realize you were sleeping with the devil in disguise, and now you finally see the truth. At first, everything seemed perfect. They said all the right things. They mirrored your deepest hopes, fears, and dreams. They acted like your soulmate, your safe place, your divine partner. But behind the charm was something much more sinister. What you thought was love was actually control. What you thought was support was subtle sabotage. What you thought was intimacy was a soul tie, a trap. You weren't just dating a narcissist, you were engaging with someone operating under a dark spiritual influence. And many of you, as chosen ones, were targeted because of your light. You carry a divine assignment. You have spiritual power, anointing, and insight. That's why the enemy sent someone disguised as love to derail your purpose. These kinds of relationships aren't just emotionally draining, they're spiritually dangerous. They leave you confused, isolated, and doubting your worth. You may have even felt like you were losing your mind. That's not by accident. That's spiritual warfare. Narcissistic individuals, especially covert ones, often carry a dark energy, a manipulative, parasitic force that feeds off your light. They knew exactly who you were. Even before you fully stepped into your purpose, they sensed the power in you. That's why they latched on. That's why they love-bombed you. That's why they made it so hard for you to walk away. But the moment you began to wake up, the moment you started to question the lies, you became a threat. The enemy cannot destroy a chosen one directly. So it sends distractions. It sends counterfeit relationships. It sends someone beautiful on the outside but spiritually rotten on the inside. That's what you were sleeping next to. Someone who was never who they claimed to be. Someone who drained you, not because they loved you, but because they wanted to extinguish your light. But now you see the truth. And that's powerful. Because once your eyes are open, the illusion loses its power. You start to reclaim your mind. You start to reconnect with God. You begin to heal. You start to see that what you thought was love was actually a lesson, a warning, a wake-up call. God allowed you to go through that experience not to destroy you, but to refine you, to teach you discernment, to sharpen your spiritual eyes, and most of all, to separate you from what was never meant to stay. You were not rejected, you were protected. You were not abandoned, you were redirected. In Isaiah 54 verse 17, it says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." That narcissist was a weapon. That relationship was designed to break you, but it didn't. You're still here. You're healing. You're wiser now. And you're stepping into a new level of spiritual strength. It may be hard to accept that someone you loved could be operating under such darkness. But the truth sets you free. And now that you see it, you can move forward with clarity, peace, and purpose. You no longer have to carry shame for loving someone who didn't love you back. You were targeted because of your goodness, because of your heart, because of your divine calling. They may have fooled your mind for a season, but they never touched your soul. And what God has for you cannot be stolen, even by the devil in disguise. So take back your power. Close the door with confidence. Break the soul tie in prayer and in truth. Reclaim your energy.
Cleanse your spirit.
And most importantly, don't look back. Because God has greater for you. God has a partner who will uplift your purpose, not sabotage it. A love that won't drain you, but pour into you. Psalm 91 verse 3 reminds us, "Surely he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence." That wasn't just a breakup. That was a deliverance. You were pulled out just in time. Because God saw what you couldn't see. Now you're awake. You see clearly. And you are never going back. Thank you for watching today's video. If this message spoke to your heart, leave a comment below and let us know. Type 777 if you've broken free from a dark soul tie and are walking in your purpose now. And remember, your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Narcissism Freedom so more souls can awaken to the truth and begin their healing journey. You were never crazy. You were chosen. And now you're free.